I hear you, buddy. As if on cue. Shadow initiates the beginning of today's video. It is Thursday, May 20th, 2021. Oh boy. Before I start, I kind of wanted to just set some energy kind of reads or energy tones for this recording, if only for myself. On my right side, in my right pocket, which is your masculine side, I have very specifically rose quartz, the crystal of unconditional love and peace. On my left side, my feminine side, I have one of my favorite stones, lapis lazuli. So many reasons that this guy is one of my favorites. Least of all, it's blue. I love blue. Blue and green, especially together. This is a stone, among other things, for your throat chakra. It's a balancing stone between our mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual realms and aspects of ourself. It is a higher intuition stone. So when I think of it, the first and primary word I think of is when I'm intending to communicate, just communication in general, because it's associated with the throat chakra. And always with me, not always with her statue, but Durga. Without going into any further explanation, Durga came to me quite literally within the first few days of me taking my spiritually awakened energy back out into the world. When I had my awakening, I was in my mom's home, like what I call my point of no return, November 18th, 2010. It was in my mom's home in Michigan, where I had gone back for the first time, gone back to live, albeit only for 10 months, but I had not spent any more time than a week or two there since I was 18. And this was I was 34 and would turn 35 during this time frame. I went back very, very, very specifically back home. All my pain and deepest wounds from this lifetime, I mean, we choose our families for very big reasons. So I had to go home to heal. And what ended up happening was nothing short of full-blown, wide awake, no going back. I mean, everything changed there. And it was before I moved to Seattle, but in the interim, I came back to Florida for a couple months. And I remember exactly where I was when Durga came to me. So she has been my energetic goddess guide and with me this entire time, because Lord knows my personality was such where I was coming out of the gate running, swinging, and we're always ready for what we face, but I definitely had some whoppers of some lessons to learn. So these are the energies on this side, Durga. Over here, I'm actually going to turn this down to almost nothing. Put these in my pockets. I'm done playing small. I'm done playing small. I am a short-statured female, not even 5 feet tall. I now believe that I chose that stature for great purpose, but now it's time to absolutely stop fearing what I came here to be and do. It's time. It's time. The title of this video, I believe, is going to be, to remain silent is to be complacent. To remain silent is to be complacent. So many things are bombarding my thoughts right now. I can share so many things. First, let me acknowledge the last video I shared. While I maintain that I think it's important that everyone have a better understanding of the evil that has been manipulating us for eons, the gentleman in the 5-hour and 17-minute video that I recommend and included in my comments of my last video, called It's Time to Wake Up. As I finished it, because remember I still had halfway to go, again, I'm glad I watched it, but I certainly have, and what resonates in my heart is, to me, he felt like we almost were screwed, if you will. And that is part of what my reaction, that I was, I always take a risk when I share something in the moment, especially something like that, that was affecting me in a way that I hadn't even felt. I had glanced in that sort of experience for 20 years. So almost 20 years. So to process that live, anytime you're, something that big, likely I'm going to be overly emotional. I haven't had time to integrate it. And so I take a little risk when I share in the moment, but I felt so compelled to do that because I never like to come in any sort of hierarchy with my energy. I never intend to come across as better than anybody. I don't believe in that. I never have in this life. It's one of the reasons why I've struggled so much in a world built on hierarchy. And I will say false hierarchies. And so, I share that because I do believe that, we all have different experiences. There's nothing that's better or worse, but we have different unique experiences. And it is if you are to wake up in this life, the layers of revelation, the onion that gets peeled, and then you kind of integrate what's revealed, and then, live with that new understanding and awareness for a while, and then bam, inevitably you have another experience that peels another layer back, reveals even more of this grand illusion we call life. It's a constant reveal, integrate, live, lesson, constant flow. And I just wanted to capture on camera that, like I mentioned, it's all relative. And to just show, part of what I was feeling when I watched that video was, like I alluded to, a lot of actors and actresses and sports figures and musicians, to whatever degree that they're aware of the cult to which they belong, I can't speak to. But movies I had seen, and music I listened to, books I loved. Ultimately what was revealed was the extent to which the energies on this planet have been manipulating us and using us. And from their twisted way of looking at it, by revelation through movies and music, their rules are that that's us giving them consent to manipulate us and use our energy and brainwash us and condition us for their purposes. So it's like you feel so violated. It just violated. And that connects me to the topic, finally, that made me realize I could not be afraid of really speaking my complete voice to a network. My personal network is not a weak personal network. And I just knew that I had to have the courage to speak more honestly about aspects and specifically to my experience of what I'm experiencing at these times. And the topic is with the kids and the massive business of human trafficking, sex trafficking, primarily focused on children and women. Somebody had tried telling me about this some years ago, but I am extremely sensitive, extremely sensitive. I feel very deeply, and I'm still very young in learning how to properly protect myself so that I can know and own only what's mine and not absorb others. That has been a long, painful lesson learning process. I have thought I've learned a lesson only to find out through another experience and relationship I had not learned the lesson. So I knew after my awakening, that's why I shut off the media. Because I couldn't take it in, because I would feel it too deeply. And there wasn't anything at the time that I could actually do to address these issues. So what purpose was it serving other than just to piss me off and upset me and make me angry? It was just fueling exactly what they wanted to. Negative emotion. So I had to shut that off. The first time it was brought to my attention was, I want to say about 6 years ago. And again, I was still like, I've been trying to get my work, which I feel will have, I know the influence that my work is intended to have in this life. I'm not holding back from expressing as confidently as I am about that knowing. And it is about to manifest, to begin for real with my project. So I know I will have influence and opportunity now to do something about these things that have plagued our world. The most important do something is to be a powerful co-creator in a new version, based in love, cooperation, thriving, and trust in something that's bigger than us, guiding it all, and having that be everybody's most important relationship, whatever you call it, that which is bigger than us, all that ultimately is love, that of which we are each unique expressions. That is the most important relationship in my life. And if it was the most important relationship in everyone's life, now we co-create from that energy, completely different world. But we are breaking free from the exact opposite. And having the awareness of it is necessary to navigate it. And so this year has been a very powerful year of revelation for me, because I didn't need any more convincing. I didn't need any more data from the 3D world. I didn't need to go down the rabbit holes anymore. I had felt enough through what I witnessed in 9/11 of the evil. So that has been a really big thing for me, to get my finger on a pulse through others on the world environment, and it's been beautiful. The truth community, for lack of a better phrase, I hate titles, I try to refrain from them, labels and titles, as often as possible, but they're necessary. We are transitioning, we have to mature into understanding, you know, we're not there, and it's a big change, you cannot get there overnight, so you gotta meet the world where it's at, and different people can handle bigger steps or smaller steps, and different groups can handle bigger, you know, it's, so the truth movement, and all these individuals from whom I've been getting my information the past, whatever we're at, 15, 16 months now, have been from all over the globe. South Africa, Australia, Spain, the UK, Canada, across America, Mexico, all over the world, getting a read from individuals and getting their interpretations through their spiritual stories. And it's been unbelievable, because you can feel the net of love. I don't like the word net. You can feel the love energy gaining momentum. And one of the things that I don't want to say I misspoke, but that came out of me in the last video, that when I watched it myself, I was like, whoa, you know better, was when I said every single human's going to need to awaken and choose good. No, I've known that that's not the truth pretty much since my awakening. I know that one awake being can literally hold the space for, I've heard numbers as low as 100,000 and as high as 1 million. I know that not all the souls that incarnated on the planet right now are intended to wake up. In fact, I think there's going to be probably a not so small percentage that are not intended to wake up. So I know that. It's interesting that that even came out of me, because of the extent that I know that. And I would say that was, you were watching part of the fear being transmuted, you know, because the initial acceptance of the depths of that, it is, you know, if you're already spending a lot of time in fear energy, you won't even be able to watch it. But I don't spend hardly any time in fear energy. So that's how I'm looking at why that came out of me, when I know how powerful just a small number of people that are awakened. And that's what I'm trying to attract in my life right now. I'm not here to debate or convince anybody. It just breaks my heart that people are making decisions based on information that, yes, 100% I believe is at best not complete, incomplete, at worst flat out lies. 100% I believe that. 100% from day one. Not a part of me doubts that. And again, I'm bouncing, and forgive me, but I'm trying to just break through my own barriers of getting my voice, finding my own voice to harmonize for myself, because I won't be able to do what I came here to do if I don't. And that means trying to share all that I've been holding back publicly. And it's not that everybody needs to share publicly, but I've had a public channel for 8 years. I've been sharing. I've got to keep sharing. I mean, that's a big part of what I'm here to do. So I have to share, but the way I'm sharing is, being called to share, is so different than everyone else. I'm not a person that's going to be able to give you a ton of facts and stories. of the third dimension, because I have been for the past 8.5 years going full force to the new earth. That's my primary role, is to be a trailblazer and a light post, and in terms of let's go. It's time now to put those inspired words into action, and I'm ready. And I am not interested in contributing to anything but that. But I'm not going to attract those people that are at the same level of readiness to act. Don't need more words. And I know the difference between running around, overachieving with no plan and no purpose just to add more accomplishments versus the action I'm being called to and have been called to for over 8 years now. This is not that. Never. I have been living the most purposeful life that I can possibly imagine for 8.5 years. It has taken me every bit of that time to create for myself what I call my bare minimum for my dream life. My own space that's big enough for me to host 1 or 2 people. Supporting myself with the work of my soul, which is entirely to serve humanity as an example of what we really came here to be and do, which is to create a world of love. That's my dream. Is Sarasota my dream spot? Not necessarily, but this is where I'm at. And it's perfect. And I will live like a queen for the rest of this life, being here if I have the freedom to direct my own energy out in the world. Nobody, no work environment can utilize me. No work environment of the 3D world can utilize me and my energy anywhere near my ability to perform, my optimal, I have to do it. I have to get a project of my own and put my own effort that I've always put behind everybody else. When you get me, when you hire me, ask any employer I've ever had. You're getting 2, maybe even 3 times the work. I have to put that to my own idea now. That sort of effort to my idea and my vision.